So today what we're going to do is start with a warm-up where you're going to be working with partners on this in-class mixed review. It's in your textbook. If you want to use the electronic version, you certainly can, or you can look at it from the smartboard. On page 61 through 7, there are 7 questions relating to this particular picture, and you're deciding if you can conclude something from the given information. So the givens are based on, like, number 1, if that's the only information you're given, can you make any conclusions about this picture? And you do the same thing for 2 through 7. Take about 10 minutes to do that. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the answers. They are a little bit blurry. Let's see if I can get those to look a little clearer. A little bit smaller. There we go. All right, so on the front of your handout, it says congruent supplements theorem. And you can see here it says, if 2 angles are supplementary to the same angle, then they are congruent. The second one says congruent complements theorem. If 2 angles are complementary to the same angle or to congruent angles, then they are congruent. I want you to talk with your partner about what those are saying in common sense language. Okay, Christian, I want to ask you very quickly. In common sense language, what does the congruent supplements theorem say about these 3 angles?
Angle 1 and 3 are congruent because angle 1 is equal to 280 as well as 2.
Good. Anybody want to add to that? All right, so underneath your blank section here, I want you to write this down. It's saying if 1 and 2 are supplement, and 2 and 3 are supplement, then 1 and 3 are congruent to each other. Let's take a look at the second example here, congruent complements theorem. If 2 angles are complementary to the same angle, or to congruent angles, then they are congruent. Talk to your neighbor about what that means in common sense terms in relationship to these 3 angles. Can someone tell me in common sense terms what they're saying about these 3 angles here? Ella?
If angle 4 and angle 6 are congruent, then angle 4 and angle 5 are complementary, so angle 6 and angle 5.
So you want to think about the opposite direction. So they're saying that if 4 and 5 are complementary, and if 5 and 6 are complementary, then 4 and 6 have to be congruent because they are complementary, both of them, to angle 5. Good. So with your partners, I want you to take a few minutes and fill in these proofs. So you can see that you have 5 steps for the first one, 5 steps for the second one, and you have something filled in for almost every single one. There is one on the second proof that is entirely blank. So I want you to talk with your partners and see if you can come up with the statements or reasons that are missing for each one. Make sure that you're marking up the given before you start. Go. Okay, here are the answers to the proofs that you did. One of the things you should have done at the very beginning is mark some of these pieces from the given. They tell you that angle 1 and angle 3 are congruent. They also tell you angle 2 and angle 4 are congruent. So I can do a single mark on 1 and 3 and a double mark on 2 and 4. Talk through and see if you have any questions on number 1. Anything that you're not following. Here are the answers to number 2. Talk with your partners and see if you have any questions. In this one, you should have also marked some of your givens, which were angle 2 being congruent to angle 3. So one of the things that you're going to be doing is talking about planning a proof, because eventually you're going to have to do this by yourself from start to finish. And if you look in your textbook on page 60 and 61, it talks about how you plan a proof. When you think about proving something, it's evidence. It's evidence, like if you were on a crime show and you see the actors providing all of the evidence to prove what's happening in the show. Same idea here. You may have a picture, you may have some given information, but you have an obligation to prove logically, step by step, what is being or attempting to be proven in that problem.